Hello, everyone. This is Rose cutting in before the intro to let you know that we at the Safe Room have sold out. That's right. Patreon.com/the Safe Room is where you can go to give us money for goods and services. And by goods and services, I mean other podcasts separate from the one you're listening to right now. We have Found Footage, which is our movie podcast where we watch horror movies every month. Our last episode was on Nosferatu, two of them. We covered the original, and then we covered the Werner Herzog Nosferatu as well. A few months ago, we even did Bram Stoker's Dracula. So if you're keeping count, those are 3 Draculas. 3 of them. And then we also have Handheld Talk, which I do with my friend Amr, with the Switch 2 coming out. You know, as soon as coverage hits on the Switch 2, we will cover every single goofy detail of the Switch 2, as well as other games we've been playing on our own. Again, patreon.com/thesaferoom, where you can hear all of that and more. Thank you all so much for your support. Hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to The Safe Room, a survival horror game club podcast. My name is Grace, and I'm here with my co-host Rose. Hello.
This month, I did this a previous episode. This month we covered the survival horror game Sorry We're Closed from last year, I want to say.
Yeah.
Pretty recent. This game owns, first of all. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good. I mean, we can just get into it. The premise is essentially, you play as Michelle. You are a employee of a convenience store in London, I want to say. And you're friends with all the other people who work at the various little stores and stuff along this little road. You are still getting over your breakup with this actress who's now on like a big soap opera. And then a demon shows up in your dreams and gives you a third eye and is like, if you don't love me, then I'll torture you forever. And then you find out your best friend is also a demon, but they're chill. And so you're trying to figure out how to break your curse and free yourself from the influence of this demon called the Duchess. and you travel through various levels. You can Skyward Sword your third eye so that you can like pop into a different dimension, and it lets you see enemy weak spots and find items and things like that and solve puzzles. And you kind of learn more about the Duchess and why she's doing what she's doing, and more about sort of like the various demons and angels that are in the neighborhood. Because I mean, it's sort of like it's not like a Hellmouth situation, but it's a little bit like Buffy in that it's like everywhere, every location in the game has some importance to like this other supernatural realm, right? And then you kind of make decisions about how you relate to the Duchess and what you're, what you want from the rest of your life. And, you get different endings based on that. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels very half visual novel, half survival horror game.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of the ending stuff is about like social relationships and like choosing how you relate to someone and then that affecting like the ending you get. So, which I think is pretty novel for a game like this. Which, this is also a game that has like a real ensemble cast, right? In a way that, something like Silent Hill 2, it's like you do you have like, 4 kind of central characters, but you're mostly alone. And all your encounters with those other people are sort of fleeting or distant or scary, in some way, sometimes underlining the distance between the two of you more than creating a connection. Right. And this is a game that is about friendships and about relationships, romantic relationships. And, that's kind of just like centered in a way that I really enjoyed. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also kind of so aesthetically it pulls a lot on Silent Hill, like in terms of when you go over to like it kind of flip-flops, which is like the lush, which is like the normal looking realm, and which is like the fucked up rusty realm. But like when you're in the demon realm, it kind of looks like you're in the Silent Hill 2 otherworld stuff, right? It also like pulls a lot on Killer 7. You swap to first person and fire at enemy weak points and stuff. Yeah, those are like the broad strokes of it, I think. It's pretty simple. You just get like a gun and a shotgun and an axe, and you can like level those up and get little upgrades and stuff. But it's mostly like, it's pretty short too. It's like 5 to 6 hours. And yeah, I mean, I think I just really appreciated the way that this was scoped, partially, that there is like an intimacy to the way the story works, and that there's also like a, it feels like everything escalates in a really nice way. So that by the end, like things feel meaningfully more difficult and more intense, but also, not excessively ambitious, I guess, for what the game is going for. Like it just feels very like well thought through.
Yeah. I'm curious what paths you went down, because there are like certain things that are kind of locked off to specific storylines.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And maybe because of that, I felt the game was too long. It took me like 7 hours to beat it.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah.
But I don't know how much is required to play through versus how much is unlocked via different paths, I guess.
Yeah, because I know that the kind of the default ending where you sort of, which is like, you help Robin out, you break the curse. Yes, I'm 631.
Okay.
For runtime. And that just kind of unlocks like by going through the game, right? There's no, you can't lose access to that ending. And then there's the stuff with, I mean, maybe we can talk through some of these relationships, I guess, because Robin's your friend who's a demon, right? And she is in love with an angel, Benedict, who is like, who they want to run away together, but can't because Benedict has like guards this door to the underworld. And so, you know, Robin is like trying to help you out, but also just looking for the place to go, you know, and like trying to figure out a way to like help Benedict be able to abandon his post and live with him and stuff. And so that's kind of one like track. There's also Dariel, who works for the Duchess in the town and is like killing people and trafficking their meat, I think. And is also like boyfriends with this like tender queer small business owner on the block. And one of the, you know, he kicks out this angel who like uses his bar, Dariel's bar, as like a front for finding and hunting demons. And so she is like, hey, if you break up Dariel and this guy and like ruin his reputation with the Duchess, then like I can get you a slot in his position and you can become like a powerful, you know, demon lady sort of deal. Or like, you know, someone who interfaces with the demon and angel world, right? And then is it Camuel? Is that how you say it? I'm not sure.
That's basically how I said it in my mind.
Yeah. Who is this angel who is like, okay, yeah. So this is an archangel in Christian mythology, which I did not know about. But basically, he's like pining for his demon boyfriend who like doesn't, who's terrified of making Chamuel lose his angel status, right? This is also part of the background of this is that every like of the angel or demonic characters used to be, not all of them. I think maybe Robin used to be human, actually. I can't remember. Because you can be human and turn to demon, but a lot of them used to be angels, you know, in the primordial time, like before the War in Heaven. And then the War in Heaven happens and it splits. And like basically every one of the demon characters is like dealing with the loss of like connection to divine love, right? And that's like why Duchess is like torturing all these people, is to try and find this like meaningful connection to love. And then also like this is part of what's going on with Chamuel, is like his demon boyfriend is like ashamed of himself. And so you can kind of encourage him or discourage him from like reaching out to his boyfriend and trying to make things work. And then there's also Jenny. No.
Lucy.
Jenny's like one of the third eye people. Doesn't matter.
Lucy, who is clearly the bad route.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
Very obviously. Because she's like, hey, if you help me, I can get you back with your girlfriend. And so hers is also like the route that locks off. Like if you do the other side quests in a specific way, like that will just pop, you know? And there's a couple with like the Dariel stuff. Like I helped him out the first day and then screwed him over like the following 2 days. So there's like, and I still had access to that ending. So like there's a couple where you can be a little wishy-washy and it still lets you get to it. But like Lucy, it's like you have to agree to her thing pretty early in the game and then follow her instructions like exactly to do it.
Yeah, it's like intentionally kind of a pain in the ass to get this ending as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's like also a lot of the game is also each I guess dungeon, because basically you have like a sort of daytime segment, I guess, although it's usually like you close up the shop, you walk through the street, you talk to people, you like get new information, and then you like go into the sort of like level where you navigate an environment, fight a boss, and then go to the Duchess's hotel and kind of, do more social stuff. So it's sort of bracketed by like visual novel segments kind of, and then like survival horror segments. So, there's just to say that there's a lot of emphasis in the game on these kinds of interactions and on this kind of like social politicking of the space that you're in, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of setup before you get to the actual like game part of it.
Yeah.
That being said, which endings did you get?
So I did the Commonwealth ending, and then I watched the rest on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, which I thought that was like the ending that I liked the most as well. So I felt content.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also did that ending. I ratted out Daryl because fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah, totally.
And then I saved what's their name? Robin's partner.
Oh, Benedict. Yeah, I did that too.
Benedict. I also saved them.
Yeah,
okay,
I wonder if
we basically got the same ending then.
Yeah, because I don't know exactly, because there's a part where you can like open the Duchess's door with the key.
Yes, I'm curious about that, but not curious enough to replay the whole game.
Yeah,
because that's also the problem. That's like there's like no chapter select or anything.
No.
Just kind of have to replay the game. You do get the ability to play on New Game Plus, but like I don't want to do all that again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What was I gonna say? I did like save just before doing the last stretch, so like the part where you select the ending and then you do like the Duchess dungeon.
Right.
So it's like in theory I could play through that section 3 times or two more times and get 3 of the endings right that way. But
yeah, but you would need to go further back for the key choice,
right? Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I might have a save before that, but it's like an hour back. That's not an insignificant amount of time to figure that out. Yeah. But no, I also was thinking about how, I think the thing that I really appreciate about this is that I kind of talked about the ways that it feels similar to Killer 7 and Silent Hill, but it also feels like kind of not entirely its own thing, but just like drawing on kind of new material for this sort of game. Like obviously, like I talked about Buffy a little bit before. And then it's like, I don't know, this is a game that has like pop music and hip hop in it, right? In a way that I don't think I've played a survival horror game that has that kind of music in it. And like so I was streaming this game to a friend and he was like, this is kind of like the meme of the Bratz doll in Silent Hill come to life. And, you know, because she has this like huge pink coat and blue hair and is like this like fashionista lady, and she's like walking through, you know, the like aquarium in Silent Hill and stuff. And I think it gives it this really unique feel, or like at least kind of comparatively unique feeling texture, right? That, and it's also like very much about like kind of being in the queer scene in your town or even like your neighborhood, and like kind of knowing a bunch of people there and thinking like a bunch of them suck, but having to like still interface and interact with them, and like that you sort of share this thing together, but also kind of don't. Right. And I think that stuff is also like really well captured and very like unpretentiously rendered. It's like so it's not representation brained, even though I feel like it has a really diverse cast, right? And stuff, but it sort of is like very much wanting to put these people like as people first. And I think that was something that was really striking to me. You know, people don't talk like they talk online, I guess, in the game, and it's nice.
That's true. That's so true.
You know,
God, that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very Twin Peaksy in that way. You have your cast of characters in this location.
Mm-hmm. And they're all sort of quirky and, you know. But it's also, everything kind of relates back to sort of like the central themes of like, most of the characters have like been through a breakup that they can't deal with, you know, like whether that's with God or with another person, you know. And so like the game is just thinking about these kinds of things the whole runtime. Oh, the other thing I was going to say in relationship to that was that this is a game that's kind of about the things that Silent Hill 2 is about, but not like, it's not about shame or guilt. It's not about like capital T trauma, really. Or at least maybe not in that sense, right? But it's about like how to deal with like people disappointing you and relationships changing, and like trying to figure out a way to like live despite like the heartbreak and things you've suffered, which are like all things that Silent Hill 2 is about. But it just approaches it from a really different direction, and thus does not feel like it's just like, oh, we're doing a Silent Hill 2 homage, right? It feels like in conversation, I think in a really meaningful way, right? And I think you can't like, I think arguably like Signalis is in meaningful conversation with Silent Hill 2, even though it like borrows more directly sort of plot stuff from that game, you know. But so I'm not saying you can maybe do more direct pulls and it can work, but I think that this the fact that it approaches a lot of the stuff sideways is like really nice, I think. You know, it feels indebted but not beholden to, which I think is really good and is kind of rare in video games. Yeah,
this felt very Silent Hill 3 to me, just in the fact that your character is just thrust into this world of demons. just wants to get out of it. But even more than that, I feel like the combat felt more Silent Hill than anything else. Like you brought up Killer 7 earlier, but this doesn't really feel like Killer 7 to me, because so much of the combat is just like very conventional, like tank control, dungeon crawler stuff, but there's a finickiness to the aiming and how it works. Like you can't move around while you're aiming, and a lot of it is like positioning yourself so that when you're aiming, you're able to get clear shots from the enemy or to the enemy. And like your third eye ability like stuns enemies, so like you're kind of you're kind of aiming, stunning the enemy, and then taking your shots, and then repositioning, which is very survival horror.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't like the combat as much as I would have hoped. There's also some like weirdness around the aiming. I played this on console at least, and
okay, yeah, I did play with the controller.
I also and then there's like an aim assist in the accessibility options, and I tried turning that up, and it did nothing.
Oh shoot, that's rough.
So I turned it back down, and it felt better with it off than on. So I don't know what was going on.
That's interesting. I don't know if I had it on or not.
There's also an auto lock on that you can enable, which I did not find useful because there are certain parts where you're like have to run away from enemies to avoid getting killed, and so I would like lock on to an enemy and then get killed by the environment.
Yes, yeah, totally.
So stuff like that was
well, and that also becomes like increasingly important because like a couple of the final boss battles and stuff are like there's like a big boss enemy that's like hovering over you and you're fighting a bunch of little guys on the ground, right? And so it's like a lot of stuff where it's like you have to be aware of the general positioning of things. And it helps that the checkpoint system is very generous in this game. Yes, it is.
But it did feel a hair too hard for me, at least. But I also forgot that you can do the third eye when you're in first person mode, so that probably did not help. Oh
my god.
I was like,
that's brutal.
I was like 3/4 through the game and like being stuck on enemy encounters, and I was like, oh wait, I can do this when I'm aiming. Shit.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
That helps.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is kind of hard, but I didn't have too much trouble with it. I got stuck on the Dream Eater boss fight a little bit, but I don't think there was ever like a boss fight that took me more than like 2 tries.
The boss fights aren't super hard. It's more just going through the dungeons and
well, and there's also that part where when you go get the key with Robin, where it's like a few waves of enemies for like 5 minutes or something, and that's pretty tough. I think this is like I mean, I think one of the things is I feel like if you had a couple more tools, some of the stuff would feel a bit easier to manage. I think I did like really, I appreciate it. It's so clever, right? Which, like, I love that you can't run and have the third eye activated at the same time. So it like forces you to have enemies come close to you, right? To shoot, like, that's just really clever. And also it's like I mentioned, it's the best mechanic from Skyward Sword. It's like the coolest thing that game has is like the stuff where you have the past world and things like that, right? And this is like a fun iteration on that. I don't know if that was in what they were thinking about at all, but I'm
pretty sure it is.
Conjured to mind for me.
They did like list Zelda as an influence. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But for me, because I'm broken. And I haven't really like played Skyward Sword all the way through. The thing that came to mind was the Medium, which also does this, but in like a tech demo-y way.
God, yeah. Should we cover the Medium at some point?
No. I mean, we could, but
yeah, we got good games to play is the thing.
Yeah. I just wish it just felt like you should be able to move in first person at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Whether it be like a slow kind of like evasion move or something.
Yeah, I think it is like it's easy because the combat's really designed around like, you know, the camera angles are fixed when you're in third person. Or does like a little following thing. But when you're in first person, you can look around everywhere. So like enemy spawns and stuff are designed around that, but you can't really move super fast, right? So it becomes difficult to like track this stuff.
There's also some dungeons towards the end that like require you to look in first person to realize where you need to be going, which I thought was odd.
Yeah, it's weird. I that was like one place where I got stuck because there's one room in the, like the second in like the crypt, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we're talking about the same thing.
You have to knock down the boards. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The thing that got me, because I didn't look it up. I don't know if you did, but it's like I saw the window. There's like a window into the other room that the boards are blocking up that you can't see from the fixed angle.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, like maybe that. So that I thought that like it, you know, it took me a bit to get it, but I was like, oh, that's clever. Like once, like I think, like well, I don't know. Maybe feeling stupid after you've solved a puzzle can be fun. But to me, usually the sign of a good puzzle game is even when you struggle against it and you figure it out, then you're like, oh, that's great. Like, that's clever. That's fun. Instead of being like, oh my God, fuck off. So in that instance, I did go like, oh, that's clever. But I would understand the position of going fuck off.
I just thought it was weird because it just felt like a classic. The game didn't train you to do this, so why would you expect?
Totally. I think that's definitely true because it doesn't really. You don't have to do that before then, as far as I'm aware. Maybe there's like some of the because there's the like little cockroach guys that you can stamp out. That's like a collectible. And maybe there's some of those that you have to do first person, like looking around for, but. Because there was one that was like on a shelf, and so I had to like pull out the axe and get it that way. So I don't know. I didn't get all of them. I wasn't invested in crushing all the cockroaches.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing is this game, in my opinion, needed like a hip shot because switching to the axe going in first person and then aiming at like boxes was so fucking tedious.
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, I think also the axe is just not that useful. Like you get enough ammo that once you have a gun, there's no reason not to use that, basically. And the axe is like too slow and clumsy. Like you can't. I feel like it's hard to aim correctly, and so I just like never used it.
Yeah, I feel like if you could use the axe outside of first person as like a quick way to get away from enemies or to destroy boxes, it would be a lot better.
Yeah. No, I think it maybe could. I think it is like the combat is also just a little simple. And so, you know, I didn't really get tired of it in the playthrough, but I definitely felt because I think it's short enough and it's like, again, I think the game is clever. It's well designed, right? And so I think like it iterates on itself in smart ways, but I think it is like if this game was an hour longer, it would be a lot worse, I think. You know,
I was pretty tired of it by the last dungeon.
Yeah, reading some reviews, it seems like people are aligned with you. I'm the exception. Here because when they got into like doing like the puzzles with your double and like moving around. Oh,
I was like, come on, guys. I just want to finish the game. It's like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Some of those are like some of the ones with the body double are really because like if your body double gets hit, then you die and you have to start the puzzle over and it takes forever to reload. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I love a game that's inconvenient though, you know. I feel like there was something else I was going to say a little while back. Oh, I really like the sound design, like around the weapons. I like the sound because you like snap your fingers to activate the third eye.
Yeah. And
it makes this like kind of resonant, echoey sound. That kind of like shrinks up when you close it. I really like that. I like the growling sounds that the guns make when you reload them. think that's awesome.
I kept thinking there were like enemies.
Yeah. There's not really dog enemies, I guess, but they're growling. They're making sounds like that. Yeah.
And I think that's also like when you're not in the like third eye mode, there's like no indication on like how much you're hurting an enemy other than numbers on the screen.
Right.
And you don't know exactly how much health an enemy has anyway. So like that aspect of it felt very underbaked. Especially because there's like upgrades where you can like upgrade the damage a weapon does, but like you're rarely shooting enemies outside of third eye view to begin with. Because like to be clear, like when you're in third eye view, you're like aiming at the enemy weak spots, and that's what ultimately kills the enemy. You could kill enemies outside of that view, but it just takes a lot longer. And there's not really any like when you hit an enemy in the weak point, they like get stunned for a brief second. There's like a real feedback to it. When you shoot outside of that, there's like no feedback at all outside of RPG numbers on the screen. So it just felt like I felt heavily discouraged from doing that.
No, I agree. I think it's like, I barely ever shot out of like, and I remember towards the end of the game, that was like, oh, it would be helpful to do this sometimes, but it felt like the benefits were not worth it, essentially. Yeah. Right. Which is like, I think in that kind of thing, you want both to be semi-viable and for there to be like situations where you want to do one and situations where you want to do the other. And that was just not the, it just is really designed around you using the third eye. It feels like. Which sometimes is good. Like I do really like the way there's a few enemies where it's like, 1, 2, 3. It's like, waist, chest, headshot, right? And like getting all three of those off and getting a little perfect thing as it flashes or whatever. Like that feels really good. Like the sort of little central loop of it, I think, is really strong.
I really like that there are enemies that you can kill with that view. That they just like get stunned for a few moments and then
and then you have because you get like the angel weapon that you can charge that you use to kill bosses and stuff, and then like those are the enemies that you have to use that on, and like that creates this like economy. Like there's a little bit of like meta resource management of like handling enemy stuff, which I think can be really like exciting. I think you're right though that like if there were like kind of additional movement choices to be made, then that stuff becomes like more kind of enveloping.
They like those specific enemies are fun because they like some of them literally just make the pyramid head scraping noise.
They sure do.
Which I thought was very funny.
I also I think the enemy design is a little bit hit and miss. Like I don't really love like the pterodactyl guys. They're a little silly. But the like human beings that have like a weird spider on their heads that like unfurls as they get closer to you. Yeah. That got me. I mean, I don't like spiders. That's part of it. I think spiders are scary. But I was like, oh, those guys are nasty. And the little moths, I like those guys too. I do think this game is not, well, outside of, I think, the Dream Eater like chase sequence at the end of the game. I think that sequence is pretty scary. But kind of not really the parts where you're like in the library and the Dream Eater's like running after you or whatever. But like the stuff where like Campbell's like reappearing and he's like killing him over and over again, and sort of like the frenetic pace of that stuff. Yeah, I think really hit for me. I do think this is a game that is mostly kind of like atmospheric and spooky rather than like actively scary.
I did get jump
which is fine. That's not really a criticism of it
because I was doing first person view, and it was like that room where like the eye like closes it off or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I was like in third eye view, so I like turned it off and I just saw the eye staring at me.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
But the Dream Eater stuff I think is like the best part of this game.
Yeah. Because it's like the Dream Eater is basically another demon that's hunting after you, basically because he's seen that you can influence Camuel, basically. And so he's trying to prevent you from changing him. And you like go through his like, he has like this dream manor that's like this monument to their relationship, and it has all these images of what he looked like when he was an angel, right? And again, this being this kind of exploration of like shame and guilt, right? And and Camel's like determination to see this through, even though like he's hurting him, and that's part of like because Camel's like, there's this part where it's like maybe this isn't about good and evil, maybe it's about change and growth, right? And like being willing to change and like lose things in the way that we become a relationship, like that's, anyway, I think it's like the biggest thematic statement that the game makes, and that ties directly into the Duchess stuff, but I feel like is kind of really poignant in the shadow of the Dream Eater stuff. Like, I think it's just, I thought it was really cool. And I think it's also such a cool environment, like the library with all the, I love all the paintings in the game generally, just like full stop. I think they're all super cool. And that has some of the like stuff where that ties directly into the thematics, like looking around at the environment gives you new and interesting information.
For me, it wasn't made clear that like Camwell was like dating the Dream Eater until like the end of the game. So like,
yes, yeah,
I like do that quest, and then I get to the Dream Eater, and then Camwell shows up, and I'm like, oh, this is the guy. Okay.
Oh shit. Yeah. Well, it's also like the Dream Eater's design is so good. Yeah. Like the weird, it has like this weird gooey bird shape for a head, and then this like body that when it's chasing you, it just like drags behind it. And then sometimes it'll like stand up and has this big sword and stuff. It's like this just really eerie design. That, and then there's all this stuff with like the demon Camuel statues that he's built and things like that. Like being terrified of like what he will look like if he becomes corrupted or whatever. Right. Stuff is good.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, no, and I agree. That was like also, there's not really a lot of twists and turns in this game, but that was like a really successful, I think, like, oh fuck moment. Like, would I have said this to you had I had this information?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is like very good.
Yeah, and just like their whole story, and just like Camuel getting killed over and over again. Fucking your automata.
Yoko Taro, eat your heart out.
Exactly.
In the words of one Molly Wrightbeck. No, that's so true. Yeah, and I like this stuff with I like the kind of dark comedic edge, the edge with the stuff that the Duchess has. I like that scene where you go to the hotel theater. They like bring a girl out, and the Duchess is like, "Can you love me?" And she's like, yes, I can. And the Duchess like, you're lying. And then they like shred her to pieces on the stage and stuff. It's just like, it's fun, you know? I also think, yeah, like this doesn't really happen that much, like kind of as you're in the environments, which is maybe part of what makes it not like a super scary game. But the like some of the gore and the cutscenes and things is really good. Yeah.
I do like the little vignettes that we get of previous Duchess victims.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah,
that stuff was really cool. I liked what was the second one? It's a girl who went missing.
Yeah, she's like the pop star.
Yeah,
right.
And the Duchess just completely fucks her up.
Yeah.
It was a really good moment.
Yeah, well, like that thing where she like starts turning into like a fish monster, and you see like her mouth have it's like the you know, multiple rows of teeth. Is like it's scary.
Yeah, and they're all very like different like explorations on the whole like theme of like love and like not getting what you want and stuff like that. So like you know, that pop star like wants somebody to love her, or like, you know, as a way to like evade the situation of like being forced to love the Duchess.
Yeah.
And so she just kind of does the same thing, but to random people.
Yes. Oh.
And
well,
then
the
girl who was like had shitty parents and is very like attached to material things as a result, and like wants to be this like demon because like she wants to like have something of value, and the key is like valuable to her.
Yeah.
That stuff's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think that sense of like, you know, you move. I also really like when in that like the crypt where this woman's like you know, going through her family stuff, and you like, you don't fight her, but you like, this is where the waves come in, the waves of demons and stuff. But like also you get flashbacks of Robin like going deeper into the crypt and getting like more fucked up trying to save Benedict, right? And that the way that that's also played as horror, right? That like how much they love Benedict and how much they're willing to sacrifice for him, and like that being this like kind of scary thing, right? Is like an interesting, you know, I think layer, and the fact that that gets like compared directly in terms of like how it's presented to you through the game, I think is really very effective. Yeah, what is the first Duchess victim? I'm like, because in the subway.
I was just thinking about that. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. Guess not very memorable. Oh, that's Jenny. Because I was looking at the Wikipedia page and trying to find Lucy's name. Oh, right. She's like a bratty millionaire or something.
I do like that Robin gets eaten by her and then just shows up at the cathedral. Totally fine.
Yeah. Well, there's that thing of like Michelle being very upset about like Robin being hurt, right? And then they're good. It's all good.
I like the guy at the record store who very clearly is you know, aware of like the demon world, but like nobody will acknowledge that it's real to him.
Yeah. Well, because there's like the thing at the end was like, I know you're a demon, Robin, and you know, and everyone's like, nah, it's all good. I guess at that point, depending on how you've treated the Robin stuff, maybe they're not a demon.
Yeah.
But
the best part of that version of that scene is the Lucy ending, where Robin is just like, yeah, I tried to warn you, but sorry, like you went down that path and now you're clearly paying for it.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what are you talking about? Why can't she talk anymore? She's not talking.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh, I think also a part that I think is legitimately scary is that shot in the Lucy ending where she like shows up and like she doesn't kill she like imprisons the Duchess and then like is like, oh, I'm gonna inhabit your body now, and there's a shot of like just the legs of her like slicing Michelle open and then like crawling into her. I'm like, that's pretty scary.
I do like when you like turn down Lucy's offer and like she just is very annoyed at you on the phone.
Yes, yeah. Because at first when you like, because she's like your save person when you call on the phone, and she's like, "Hey, sweetness," like she's really nice, and then she'll be like, "Hey, sure," whatever, which is fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the just the idea of like her not being able to speak while possessed by Lucy, and then getting visited by her ex, and then she can't say anything.
Right? Yeah. Ugh.
And then there's like an Invitation to Love style parallel soap opera that it coincides with this aspect of Michelle's kind of breakup that plays as well, which is really good.
It is good. Yeah. How do you feel about the like cinematography in this game generally?
I thought it was great. That was really smart. I thought just really smart establishment of shots throughout this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the music was good as well.
Yeah.
I'm mixed on rap music in boss battles. It's like hit or miss. It was fine. It wasn't like cringy. But it was hit or miss, I think. But like overall, like the vibes are really good, and the shots are very smart and very communicative of like what is important in a shot and stuff like that. It was really good.
Yeah. No, I think I agree. Generally, I
really like the way that you like come across a vignette and you do the third eye and then you click on it and it gives you like a little scene, and all that stuff is really well shot as well.
Yeah, I think the like what was I gonna say? The like the way that this is a game without voice acting, but that has like kind of the style of like traditional cutscenes in some way, I think gives it some real, like it looks really nice, and it's also just that you can kind of do this very like this storytelling that feels super cinematic, right? Without some of the fancier elements of that, like maybe did you play Thirsty Suitors? Have we talked about this before? It made me kind of wish that game did not have voice acting, but
that's fair.
But and it's not that the voice acting in that game is bad or anything. It's just like I think that's a game that feels like it is trying to punch above its budget in a real way. And that sometimes works for it and sometimes doesn't, I think.
Yeah. No, this was really smart. Like you get like the characters make grunts and stuff like that. So you like have a feel for what they sound like, and then the text is very very Undertale, and like it's like typewriter, and like you get the like tone of what they're saying comes across and how the text is delivered.
Yes, yeah, good. You get the like shaky letters and things like that. Yeah. I love the Duchess is like,
yeah,
like that's so good.
I do like towards the end of the game, you can ask like, "Where did you get that outfit?"
Yes, I love that when you get that flip and the Duchess is asking questions. I think is like the way that then those, you know, the game is about that encounter and that relationship, and like the way that the game sort of underscores that. I think through that moment is really cool. Yeah, and I think I do like. I think that's like part of the reason. Like I like it as a love story between the two of them. I think that's like lovely.
I forgot to mention the dream sequences where it's like a CRT filter over the game.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
And it's like giving you recaps, and then at the end you're like, it's where you pick your ending. That was very cool. And then like your ex is like dead on the ground in that dream sequence. It was very cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's different, you know, when you, because like if you choose the Lucy ending, then she's like standing next to Lucy. Yeah. And you like have to go in like with the intention of picking the Lucy ending, because if you like go back to her, like you can't like do it a second time. You have to like pick her the first time. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Oof.
You really have to go out of your way to do the bad thing.
Yes, yeah, for sure. My name is Lucy.
I really liked Oakley as the one normal person in the game.
Yes, yeah. Well, I like the part where it's like you take the photo of like the meat that, you know, and then he's like, "This is one of Dariel's pranks," and you're like, "No, it's for real." Like he's actually doing this, and it's like, nah. Yeah.
Oh, and then you get to the part where you like ship back body parts to him.
Yes. Oh my god.
It was rough. I felt bad for him.
I did like the pterodactyl chef who you can sell items to.
Yeah.
Who speaks about himself in the third person. I thought that was good. I mean,
the game is full of like fun kind of dialogue from the demons in the like hotel area. That is very very like mundane like things happening at this hotel. It's very
well,
fun.
It's also like it's like a tourist spot. Like demons go there like as a hotel, right? And they like do, you know, so there's kind of this fun like double function stuff. Yeah. No, I think I also really like that. Like it has, for lack of a better term, like world building. You know, this kind of has like a setting, but it also is like everything feels really tied into the themes. You know, and so it feels like you get some sections that are like exposition about like, hey, this was the world before, and this is how demons and angels work, and various things, right? But it all kind of slots into like things that the game is thinking about and trying to work through. And so you know, get to like, it just feels very like thematically coherent, I guess, cohesive maybe. I love the little rat that Dariel gives Oakley with a little party hat, and it's just like its little head's moving around. You know what I'm talking about? It's good.
Yep.
It's good. Yeah.
I like that the Duchess gets like Michelle's favorite artist to play at the dinner.
Yes. Well, then she's like, "I'll imprison him for you if you want, and you could hear him play anytime. We could torture him together." Oh my god, can I tell you something? An insane post that I saw about this game that I also was like very funny having played the game. But there was like a post that was like, wow, I can't believe this game has like a stereotypical cis lesbian being preyed on by someone who looks like a trans woman. And I was like, what the fuck? I don't think the game.
You can truly anything can be read in fan
Yes,
base.
yeah. Well, it's also like it's like everyone. So many like because Robin also has this kind of drag queeny look to them. Like I'm not even sure if I can't remember. Like I keep saying they because I don't remember what pronouns the game uses. And so there's just there's a lot of androgynous characters.
I think they use like neopronouns for Robin. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. I totally believe that. So it's just like really. It's also it's just not. I don't know. It's just very the kind of thing you could say only like you watch a trailer and think you understand what the thing is entirely. Like
it's also like the game is about like overcoming the labels of like demon and angel.
Yes,
and,
yeah,
like,
totally.
So like it's very mindful about that stuff. So.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think I also like enjoy the way that like the Duchess is this very androgynous, like very drag queen looking kind of figure, right? And the way that like I mean, this is also something that this was something I put in my notes and that I wanted to mention.
And crucially, like, not the only black person in the game.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. Yes. Again, very diverse cast, right? Is that this is a sexy game in a way that feels like it's not horny exactly, but it's like very erotic, right? There's a lot of stuff that's about bodies. A lot of the horror comes from like people's bodies being mangled or changed, right? And like that, it's like plugged into this kind of like sexual world in a way that feels like very thoughtful and thematic forward. And I think like the Duchess's appearance is like this kind of genderless being that is still, I mean, the Duchess, right, is still the name though, right? Like there's this femininity to it. There's this thing. I feel like it has this, it's just thinking about this stuff as you're saying, right? And so truly a strange.
Oh, and there's that stuff with Lucy around like her like knowing the Duchess's name, and that's what kind of like gives her this power over the Duchess.
I forgot about that. Yeah, very good point. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, well, because it's also a game that is about transition or transformation, right?
Yeah.
Like moving from a life where you are immortal to one where you are mortal. And that's like, you know, this is a consideration that people who are leaving Christianity face in a real way. That's like, what if by living as myself, I go to hell, right? And am I like willing to do that, you know? And, you know, obviously I don't believe in hell, right? I'm not a hell believer. I'm not even a God believer necessarily, but I just, I think it takes all these things really seriously. Right. Yeah, I'm glad I brought that up because that brought out some like cool thematic stuff in the game that we wouldn't have talked about otherwise. Because I like worry about, I don't want to just shit on some random ass person's like dumb opinion. But
it's so funny because I also have a random post to share with you.
Okay, hit me up. I'm ready.
Which is like not as interesting, but this is a YouTube comment from a Venom Snake user. Came here because I was disappointed by the Lucy ending, only to find out it's the only one in which Michelle meets Leslie again. What the fuck, game? My only goal was to see them back together, and the only ending that gets them somewhat close to that is a reunion where Michelle can't speak?
Dude, you're so close. You're so close. You almost got it, my guy. Oh my god. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh. Yeah. I think this is the thing of this being a game that really gets like breakup emotions also. And it's really like, just very textured. I think this is like the thing is it just feels so like it's, you know, it's so not like hashtag U-Haul lesbian or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like it's very just like grounded in the kinds of experiences you have when you're in these communities, you know, and just like takes that really seriously and doesn't even name it as such, but just like wants to put you in this space. And I really value that. And I think it's kind of rare, especially in video games, but kind of generally. So yeah. Well, do we want to do emails? Is there any other final salvo thoughts you have?
I feel like there was one thing, but it's leaving my mind. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me know if it comes back.
The game is cool. Cool game.
Cool game. Yeah, I'm excited to see. It'd probably be 5 years or whatever before their next project comes out, but I'm curious if this team does anything else, what that will be like. Oh, excuse me.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I think you have the emails, or I don't have the document.
Yeah, we have one email. It's not related to the game.
Okay.
But the question is from Faden. What older horror game deserves to have a new sequel made?
I don't know. What's like stuff that we've played that you think should get a sequel?
Like, part of me wants to say Killer 7, but it would be shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's real. That's so real.
Like, you could do more in that world, but I don't trust Stu to do
at this stage.
Well,
Did you see his, like, is Thunderbolts? Is that this new Marvel movie? Did you see his post about this?
No.
Where he was like gassing it, basically. It was just kind of sad. I mean, I hear that movie's okay, I guess, but like, it was just like, Suda, you don't have to do this, my guy. Yikes. I'm trying to think, because I feel like a lot of the stuff we've played like has sequels, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, Silent Hill 4. God,
I mean, we do talk about all the time how Dino Crisis remake would make so much money.
Yeah, that's so true.
If they do that,
I could really go for a. I was like Rule of Rose, I guess. I don't know if I really want a sequel though. You know? Like,
if they ever do Rule of Rose, it would be in the style of like A24.
Oh my god, you're so right.
But for like video games.
Ugh. Yeah.
Boo. Which I don't know. I feel like there's already so much like movie bullshit in games now that I don't care about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
They should do a new Phantasmagoria.
True.
Or like Haunted Ground's already like a Clock Tower successor, but like I'd like to see something else in that lineage. Again, or Sweet Home. I would like to. I'm curious about. And I think you could probably do something interesting with again. Yeah. I don't, Oh, I was going to say also that Fragile Dreams, I would love to see something kind of in that vein, like melancholy survival horror, right? Of that sort of vein. I would like to see someone playing in that space again. But yeah. All right. Well, I think that's podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I also, I just, the other thing I thought this game was really refreshing after Alyssa or after, I don't know. I also played Post Trauma for review. I can't link to it because it's in Edge Magazine, which is a print magazine. But if you subscribe to Edge Magazine, I wrote the review for Post Trauma. And I thought that game was like felt so wound up in Silent Hill 2 that it just can't find its own footing, basically. And it was like really refreshing to play this kind of having that in my mind and being like, wow, like you can make a game that is survival horror and it can feel new, you know? Right. And that was very exciting to me. So I'm hopeful that, I don't know that, I want people to do other stuff. I don't want just people to make other, sorry, we're closed, but it makes me hopeful for like the future of this podcast that I won't just be the whole time. It's like, man, those Silent Hill games are really good and nothing else can really match like my interest in the same way. And, I don't think it's as good as Silent Hill 3 or whatever, but like, hey, it's pretty damn good. And it feels new. So.
Yeah. I did really like seeing everybody as humans at the end. It was very sweet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially, I like that the Dream Eater is just like doesn't talk to you and is like shy.
Yes. Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. A+.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, next month we are covering the video games D and D2 for the Sega Saturn and Sega Dreamcast, respectively. These are kind of like stealth, influential survival horror classics. And we also have a special thing happening. Do we want to talk about this? Or should we be like, it's going to be a special episode and leave it at that?
Yeah. Just in case anything falls through.
Yes, we'll leave it. We've got special things coming. We've got cool things in the works. And it'll probably be next episode. But,
we've got schemes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We'll catch you later. Thank you so much for listening.
Bust it down on the floor. Make that ass clap. And be the star of the show. Get lost in the train. Don't lose that game. Just watch that dance and get carried away. Bounce that. Bust it down on the floor. Make that ass clap. And be the star of the show. Get lost in the train. Don't lose that game. Just watch that dance and get carried away. Do you like what you see? Would you like a piece of me? Come take you a bite. Ain't about the modesty, as nude as my honesty. Let's dance to the night. We ain't about to sin for free. You best win the lottery if you want the right. Once we get really close, I mean once our bodies touch, you ain't leaving my sight. Loving your touch, wish I could take a munch. Eating your gaze up for lunch, they heat the lust. That body get bent, trust, feeling your passion a must. I love when you move, seducing me to the groove. You ask, you know who I'll choose, it's you. As soon as that money correct, you gon' have me feeling loose.
Get down on the floor, lower than what I call home. Can't tell if it's a blessing or a curse, either way you put a spell on my dome. How she an angel but badder than any of the devils I know. I need a different eye, her beauty is a lie, can't tell on my own. Fuck, I can't blame it that I'm stuck in love, I fell on my own. If I ever reincarnate, I pray to God I wake up as your pole. But your entry fee is your soul, and all my homies paid the toll. Charmed by my kryptonite, can't tell if I say it go. Angelic eyes gazing at me and my brother, make us say the hell with this and go to heaven. Making it rain my sin, releasing the pain I'm in. Moving circles like angels I spin. Inner demons like Ayo, I'm him. Trade your life for her halo, I'd win. Trade your life for her love, now I'm grim. Yeah, angel feathers on the ground, blessings on the ground next to it. Yeah, money powers on the ground, cause she know that she the best with it. Heavenly with the moves, looking like she just perfected it. Yeah, thought this feeling died in the 7th gate and she resurrected it, damn.